There's a cat the size of a small dog. It has ears like a lynx, paws like snowshoes, and a tail it wraps around itself like a scarf. For over a century, people swore this animal wasn't fully a cat at all. Some said it was part raccoon. Some said it swam ashore from Marie Antoinette's ships. One story even claimed it came from outer space. None of that is true, but the real story is stranger and much more American. This is the Maine Coon, and it's the only cat breed that can call the United States its true birthplace. Let's start with the myth everyone's heard, because it explains the name. Maine Coons are famously big. Males often reach 18 to 22 pounds, with long, bushy, ringed tails. To 19th century farmers who'd never studied genetics, that tail looked exactly like a raccoon's. So the story took hold. This cat was a hybrid, half domestic cat, half raccoon. Biologically, that's impossible. Cats and raccoons are different families entirely. They can't interbreed any more than a dog and a fox can produce a stable, fertile lineage. But the myth stuck around for decades, and it's actually where the coon in Maine Coon comes from. Farmers weren't being poetic. They genuinely believed it. The truth is both simpler and honestly more impressive. The Maine Coon's size, its ringed tail, and its thick coat aren't hybrid traits. They're survival traits, the product of natural selection in one of the harshest climates in the continental US. So if it's not part of raccoon, where did it actually come from? The most credible theory traces back to the 1600s and 1700s, when New England was one of the busiest shipping regions in the world. Ships arriving from Europe, and possibly from the Middle East and Scandinavia, often carried cats on board. Not as pets, but as pest control. A ship without a cat was a ship with a rat problem, and rats could chew through rope, grain stores, and even hull insulation. When those ships docked in Maine's ports, some cats jumped ship. Literally. They made their way into barns and homesteads along the coast, and once there, they started breeding with the local farm cats. By the mid-1800s, Maine Coons weren't a rare curiosity. They were just what cats looked like in rural Maine. Farmers valued them for the same reason ship captains once had. They were excellent hunters, hardy enough to survive outdoors, and largely self-sufficient. Then, in 1895, something unexpected happened. A Maine Coon named Cozy won Best in Show at one of the first major cat shows in the United States, held at Madison Square Garden in New York City. This was before the word purebred even meant much in America. Cat fancy as a hobby was brand new, but Cozy's win proved that this scrappy New England barn cat could hold its own against imported European breeds that show judges considered more refined. For a few decades after that, Maine Coons were minor celebrities in the cat show world. But then a problem emerged. Persian cats, freshly imported and heavily marketed, became the fashionable breed of the early 20th century. Maine Coons, seen as plain old farm cats, fell out of favor. By the 1950s, some cat associations had declared the breed extinct. It wasn't extinct. It was just still living in barns across Maine, doing exactly what it had always done, completely indifferent to whether anyone in New York thought it was fashionable. A small group of devoted breeders in Maine refused to let the breed disappear from the show world. Starting in the 1950s and picking up serious momentum through the 1960s and 70s, they began carefully documenting and breeding Maine Coons, working to get the breed formally recognized again. It worked. In 1976, the Maine Coon was officially recognized as a distinct breed by the Cat Fanciers Association. And in 1985, the state of Maine made it official in a different way. The Maine Coon became the state's official cat, a title that, as far as we know, no other US state has ever given a breed with such a genuinely local origin story. Today, the Maine Coon is one of the most popular cat breeds in the United States, and one of the largest domestic cat breeds in the world. The record for the longest domestic cat ever measured belongs to a Maine Coon named Stewie, who stretched over 4 feet from nose to tail. Set the myths aside, and the Maine Coon is still a genuinely unusual cat. for reasons rooted entirely in its climate survival origins. Their coat is technically called a shaggy coat, longer on the belly and breeches, shorter on the shoulders, which is the exact opposite of what you'd design for style and exactly what you design for shedding snow and insulating against wind. Their paws are large and often tufted with extra fur between the toes, natural snowshoes that spread their weight on soft snow. Their tails are long enough to wrap fully around their bodies and faces while sleeping, functioning as a built-in blanket. And temperamentally, Maine Coons are known for being unusually social and dog-like, often following owners from room to room, and in many cases, comfortable being leash-trained. Some researchers who study breed temperament suggest this may trace back to their working cat history. Cats that were more tolerant of humans were more likely to be kept around barns and homes, which nudged the breed toward friendliness over many generations. It's a plausible explanation, though breed temperament research is still a developing field, so it's worth treating as a strong hypothesis rather than settled fact. Most cat breeds in the world were deliberately engineered, bred in controlled programs, often in a single country, over a relatively short window of time, with a specific look in mind from the start. The Maine Coon is almost the opposite. Nobody designed it. It was built by a coastline, a few centuries of brutal winters, and generations of cats that simply had to survive, without any human deciding what they should look like. The breed standard that shows judge today didn't come first. The environment came first, and the standard was written afterward to describe what had already emerged. That's a genuinely rare origin story in the world of purebred animals. Most breeds are a human idea imposed on an animal. The Maine Coon is a wild environments idea, and humans just showed up centuries later to give it a name, and briefly to blame it on a raccoon. If you want more deep dives like this into the real history behind the cats we think we already know, subscribe. There's a lot more where this came from.